Hey, folks, that's right. I hope everybody's Thanksgiving was great. Uh, I hope everybody's tired of turkey right now. You got a few days in between now and Christmas where you're gonna probably have. Oh heck, ain't no telling. Some of y'all might go out there and shoot a buck or something, and then venison or you name it. Ain't no telling what y'all probably gonna have for Christmas. But anyway, hey, I hope everybody had a blessed Thanksgiving, had enough to eat, and and still talking to your family members at the end of all the college games. I know some. I know probably the between the T-Sips and the Aggies, it might be some bad family feud going on right now. But anyway, what the heck? Oh, by the way, if y'all thought Lane Kiffin was gonna stay at Ole Miss, psych, he didn't. But we'll talk about that. In the meantime, the Houston Texans. Now, how many everybody raised their hand and thought the Texans would be in the position where they are right now after starting out 4-3? Quit lying. Everybody out there raising their hand. Oh yeah, I knew everybody got both hands and got up here holding on to your rosary beads. Nobody figured out because they thought the Texans, the way their season going out, C J Stroud and everything. But guess what? It's like this. That's why you play the game. You play the game to win. And so the Texans went to Lucas Oil Field today in Indianapolis, defeated the Indianapolis Colts. And that sound in the background is my good friend uh, Elwin Henderson of the Gilmore Mirror. I'm going to bring him in, and we're going to chop this puppy up a little bit and just let's see. Yep, there he is. Yeah, up here profiling. Hey man, how was your Thanksgiving?
Hey, it couldn't have been any better. I turned 70 last Sunday and saw the Cowboys beat the Eagles at Jerry World in the press box. And then on Thursday, they did the same thing for me by beating Patrick Mahomes and the Chiefs. And then, of course, the Eagles got beat Friday afternoon. And hook 'em horns, my Longhorns came through and beat them Aggies Friday night. So my day couldn't have been better, and especially again today with the Texans winning against the Colts. I had a trifecta. No, I had a quadfecta, I guess. It's been a great 7 days for me.
Hey, well, congratulations as always. God please, God blessing on the birthday. It's always good to still have
Thanks.
birthdays, man.
Yeah,
And so and that's a good thing. And a special God's blessing because I know what you've been dealing with, man. And
yeah,
and the thing about it. So that's always a blessing. Uh, at the beginning of the year, and you and I talked about this. You've been off. You've covered the Texans, you covered the Cowboys. I think 30+ years and covering the NFL. And I would just, I was kidding with some of the folks that talking about raise their hand that they felt like the Texans would be in this position. Because none of us knew because we felt
no,
like the Texans was going to start this season off. And obviously I was disappointed with the first game way against the Rams, but it took a little time for them to get their footing. They dug themselves a good hole, and now they at a point right now. They can't afford to lose. I mean,
no,
a loss right now, and now it makes it pivotal because they got themselves back uprighted in the division. I mean, in their conference in the AFC South, so they got themselves competitive in that. They've also gotten themselves in a better position in the AFC South. And as it stands, the way things if things work out, they'll probably be one of the four division winners. They'll probably be the one of the division winners going to have to play on the wild card weekend. They'll be the one of the division the seed that's going to have to play that weekend. But so be it. As long as they get them a home game and knowing what they have to do. However, they have to go in a week from the night. A week from the night, they have to take on Patrick Mahomes, the same Patrick Mahomes that you saw featured against the Cowboys Thanksgiving Day.
mhm,
And so guess what? The Chiefs whole season is riding now on that game coming up on a week from the night against the
absolutely.
Houston Texans. So now the Texans have come close with the Chiefs, but in Arrowhead but the thing about it, what last year the Chiefs were what 12-0 or 11. They had won like by 12 games by one score
Yep.
game or less. And this year that magic doesn't seem to be there. And so,
No.
you know, can the Texans go in the Arrowhead and win? Yes, they can. Will it be easy for them to go in the Arrowhead the night from the night and win? No, it's not going to be easy. It wasn't easy going into Lucas Oil Stadium today because I'll be quite candid with you. I did not think that with C J Stroud, I had some apprehensions about CJ coming back. How rusty would it be? Can the Texans defense really hold it to the point to allow the Texans offense with some new wrinkles, a quasi tush push, and and also and I hope they go work on that tush push because
Yeah.
darn it, if you can't pick up a half a yard, because we now starting seeing a lot of teams now doing their variations of it, tush push. We actually saw Friday how the push has gotten tushed and everything else, fumble and everything else. So there's some panic up in Philly town now behind that all that. But anyway, I'm gonna shut up a little bit and give you your say so with these guys right now, Elwood.
Well, I know you and I were texting back and forth during the game, and I thought the same thing you did when you asked what I thought about CJ. I thought he did not get all the rust knocked off, but we knew that would be the case early on. But man, he came on and got it going when it counted and really had it smoking in the second half. I was really proud of that. I'm still scratching my head trying to figure out what in the world Nick Cayley was thinking, wasting all that time before halftime when they were in a position to realistically move in and get at least a field goal. And I noticed when they did the halftime interview with D'Amico, he just said, well, we knew we were getting the ball to begin the second half. He's not going to throw Nick Cayley under the bus, obviously. He's going to take up for his OC. But I thought that was a huge mistake, bad play calling, bad decisions there at the end of the half where we could have probably gotten some more points. And then I still question why go with a tush push on third down there. Why not let CJ stay in there and the ball off to Woody Marks or Nick Chubb, whoever was going to be in, see if they couldn't pick it up. Now, I do understand why we did not have CJ running the tush push. Coming off a
Oh,
concussion, you don't want
right,
him running it. So I do
right.
understand why we did what we did there. But I also question when you didn't get it on third down, you're up by 4 points. Why did we not take the field goal there to go up by 7? Because I was scared to death as I texted you, AD. We're going to fool around and they're going to come down and get a touchdown and we're going to lose by 3 points. I was scared to death that was what was going to happen. Fortunately, the defense got the job done, but I'm still scratching my head on a lot of the offensive decisions by Nick Cayley today.
Well, you know what? You know what? Yeah, we can, and I think we're gonna continue to scratch our head for the rest of the year. And,
Yeah,
and I really, I think we are. I think they pulled some nice wrinkles out today.
yeah.
The end around with Nico Collins. Now
Mm-hmm.
they've shown they're gonna use Nico in a lot of different ways trying to get him the ball. So and kudos to the wide receivers for blocking today.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not trying to distract from the offensive line today because I thought because when you look at it and to me this is a critical thing. Time of possessions today. Texans 34 minutes and 58 seconds. Indianapolis Colts 25 minutes and 2 seconds. That's almost a 10-minute, almost a 10-minute advantage. And the reason I'm saying when you break that down, Texas had a lot of long offensive possessions today,
Mm-hmm.
long drives, and the thing, no, they didn't score on everything, but they held the ball, and that's the main thing because the defense didn't have to worry about being out there and just suffering a bunch of long, hard pounding drives behind with Jonathan Taylor. I thought they did an excellent job of attacking the line today and keeping Jonathan Taylor in front. His longest run was 12 yards. All right, I'll put up with
Yep.
that any day. I'll give him 19 carries. I think it was 19 carries a day, or 20 carries, 85 yards. I'll give him that any day. No big
Mm-hmm.
runs, and they can have it. I think that kudos to the offensive line today. I'm giving kudos to the wide receivers for the blocking and for a lot of blocking. And I'm surprised that, Xavier Hutchins doesn't have a concussion himself today,
Oh
and
man, yeah,
I'm a little surprised that they didn't throw a flag on that. Now, that doesn't necessarily mean that they might not that particular DB might not have a letter in his file
yep,
in his locker next week because you know NFL likes hard hits. It's something about those hits up high, and it was high. I'm not gonna say it was at his head. I mean, it was close. It was a
yeah.
close close shot. So I'm pretty sure they're gonna look at it. But taking everything else in consideration, the Texans only had one sack today. Now, before everybody get all bent out of shape, go back and let's look at the pressures. Let's look at what because obviously Daniel Jones was a limited quarterback today because he
Mhm.
did have an injured leg that was trying to work, trying to play on the injured leg, and I don't think he wasn't about to get out there and try to do the running. That's why they was going leaving it back to 28 for let him, but because they kept him in check. So you know as far as I'm concerned, hey, I'll take it for what it's worth. We'll take it and move on down the road.
I
Elder,
agree with you, AD. And talking about surprise, there wasn't a flag on that penalty. I know I texted you once. I thought the officiating today was horrible in that game. Now, both teams, quite frankly, got away with some stuff they shouldn't have gotten away with. And it's hard for me to understand the money we're paying. I say we're, the NFL's paying these guys, why we can't get officials that can do a better job than what these guys are doing. And, I was sitting there thinking at the end of the game, I'm ready for us to get to artificial intelligence officials or assisted officiating. The way AI is going, let's just get rid of these humans and find computer technology and have the computers officiate the penalties, and the game will go a lot faster, and it would probably be a whole lot more fairly officiated game. I'm just honestly sick and tired of the officiating I'm seeing in the NFL. And every year, oh, we're going to make sure it's better this year, but frankly, it never is.
I don't know. You know what? Isn't this a part of the whole majesty of just watching football and arguing with the official and arguing with calls? Isn't that all part of the deal? Because I'll be quite
Yeah,
candid with you. Who in the
I guess.
hell is gonna be who in the hell is gonna be arguing with a computer about a call? I mean,
Well, you can't argue. You can't argue with the
well,
computer because the
like
computer's going to be right.
not
But I've
BS.
always said, AD, I have always said from high school, college, NFL, all the way up, officials right now are still the necessary evil of football. And I do consider all officials evil. I'm sorry. No apology.
Okay, all right. Yeah, yeah. Okay, you know what? I'm gonna let you. I'm gonna let you down, Eddie Hill, on that one. They are. I mean, it's questionable. Yeah, trust me. I sit up there and I sit there and if I'm and I obviously try to watch it from an objective standpoint. If I saw the Texans do something wrong, I'm going like, oh, there's a penalty right there, and that's when like they didn't call that, and I'm and
Yeah.
I'm going like, that's how I react because I mean, if there are obvious penalties whether they committed against the Texans or by the Texans, I want I'm looking for okay, in the same way with their opponent. I mean, if that's obvious, just call it. But I
Yeah.
don't become a part of the show. That's the one thing, and whatever. So hey, we'll see eventually. Coming up, what do you think? Let me. All right, Mr. Big Tex. I'm gonna keep him up on a block a little better. For CJ was getting rid of the ball faster. He must have saw what Mills was doing.
Yeah.
Hey, apparently, no. I'll admit. I mean, no. CJ was a lot quicker on the release today. But I think what we might think is being quick on release it might be just different pass power, play calls and with the route trees been changed. Has that ever occurred to somebody?
Well, I'm going to say this, AD. I noticed that they mentioned on the CBS broadcast that they thought the same thing. He was getting rid of the ball faster, and I think part of that was self protection, very possibly. Man, I can't hold on to the ball. I'm just coming off a concussion. I can't afford to hold on it so long that I get another concussion. And I think more than anything else, and he did mention himself that he enjoyed watching Davis Mills and seeing things sitting on the bench while he was recovering from his concussion and basically learned things that he didn't realize before. So I think that may have been helping him release the ball quicker today as well.
Yeah, I think CJ learned a whole lot. Just having the time away, and here's the effect of everything. Mills, let's Mills had been a starter here. CJ replaced Davis Mills.
Yep.
Okay, we all know that. We're not saying it. That's not no breaking news. But I think the fact that Davis Mills has shown a degree of maturity. He has walked in, has taken a set of things that was given to him, and he's done some things with it. And I'm pretty sure CJ has gotten a chance to look at some of those similar plays and how the execution was going. Now,
Mm-hmm.
we can talk about all the execution in the world. We can talk about route trees and everything else. I think the offensive line, and this different machinations and everything. Titus and played. Titus and done everything except go up in the stands and sell Shanna Bach beer or whatever, or sell
Yeah,
Crown Royal. And that's I think that's a compliment to Titus Howard.
you
But
bet.
Ariante, the young man, I continue to be amazed and watch this young man's his progress. Yeah, he got ate up a little bit today, but guess what? As this season progresses and his knowledge base goes, and every day he's going up against either Will or Daniil or Dylan Harden or some of the other end, all that's doing is helping this kid.
Mm-hmm.
And you know what? That little baby face smile that he has on his face right now. I'm about to start calling him the little smart, the big silent baby face assassin, because he I like the young man. I really do. I enjoy my conversations with him in the locker room and everything. But each week I'm watching his progression, and I am very pleased with what's happening with him. I'm pleased better now with what's going on with the. I'm not seeing the leakage up between the guards that Titus to move back inside and on one side or the other. The changes that have happened with the guards that you play, I think it's gotten a lot stronger. We're not
Mm-hmm.
seeing that porous offensive line play we saw at the beginning of the year. So let's face it. Hey, hats off. Y'all got Indianapolis Colts today. I thought they could get them. We and I talked about that earlier this week. You asked me.
Yep.
I said, yeah, by all means, yeah, I think they could go in there. I
Mm-hmm.
think I'm not saying the Colts are fool's goals, because let's face it, the record is who they say they are. It's what Bill
Mm-hmm.
Parcells said. Your record is who you say you are. So now they got to go figure out some things and come back. And now the Texans can appreciate this game. They got a week from tomorrow to worry about playing. They don't have to play on Sunday, so they'll travel. They'll probably travel Sunday as opposed.
No, no, AD. That
They're
game
not.
is Sunday night.
That's right. That's right. Forget it. You're right. Thank you. Forget it.
You
Thank you.
bet.
So yeah, I was thinking about Monday night again, but anyway,
Yeah.
but anyway, the NFL, hell, especially with the college season, coming down to a close. Coach, they got all their playoffs coming up.
Yep.
They'll be, the NFL will go back to playing almost during every day of the week.
Oh
You
yeah.
know, with one day's rest for the players and everything. That was a shot at the NFL with waiting, so I took it anyway. Anyway, Erwin, hey, uh, closing points. I know you on the road doing some things and everything, and I told you I didn't want to hold you too long, but closing points from you, and then I'm gonna turn you loose and let you for the weather is nice up there, man. It's the sun now, but it's still gloomy and gray down here, man, because all the front and everything just still moving
We're
through.
overcast here, man.
Oh yeah.
But as far as my final thoughts, I'm gonna go on and switch to next Sunday now. The Texans with this win now are one game behind the Colts for the AFC South lead with 4 games left. Yes, the Texans have a really tough task in front of them playing at Arrowhead. You and I both have been up there for 2 Texans playoff games. We've seen what it's like. One time, the Texans jumped out to a 28 to nothing lead and still got beat in a playoff game up there at Arrowhead. But the Colts know, the Chiefs know beyond a shadow of a doubt, if they lose to the Texans next Sunday night, there will be no playoffs for the Kansas City Chiefs. I think they're actually totally eliminated, but all but eliminated, if not totally, with 3 games that would be left. But for the Texans, it's an important game because they've won 4 in a row. They can get that 5th win in a row. They can finally get, as you mentioned earlier, over that hump with not being able to beat the Chiefs at Arrowhead. But just as important, the Colts go down to Jacksonville next week to take on the Jaguars. And if the Jaguars pull that victory off at home, which they well could, we could literally be sitting here in a wonderful position. And as everybody knows, the very last game of the regular season, the Colts come to NRG Stadium, and I like the Texans' chances in that game. It very well may be that that game decides the AFC South champion. So to say that next week is the biggest week of this season for both those teams, as well as the Chiefs and the Jaguars, I think goes without saying. It will be the biggest game of the season, and it'll be very interesting to see how it all plays out.
I tell you what, I'm a up you on one. You know what? I think the week prior to that, I think the Texans again with at SoFi with the Chargers. I think that very well could be the determinant that final game. Yeah, it very well could be, but I think the Texans against the Chargers might be the game that probably wrap everything up for them, man. I
Yeah, you
think a
know
lot.
what?
I
It
think a,
could be. And I'm
I,
sure that you saw today the Rams got upset in Carolina by the Panthers.
right,
So
right.
this is one of those years that everything we all think we know based on how good we think teams are or how bad we think teams are has been totally turned upside down. You remember years ago, the commissioner said, "We want to see parity in the NFL." Well, Lord, you're not going to ever get any more parity than you got this year. This is the most parity we've ever had. And Lord, you got the Bears sitting there. You know, they're going to win their division almost certainly. So everything has just been turned upside down. The Texans with that rough start, they came back. The Cowboys with that rough start, they're coming back. It's just been a crazy year. But I really do believe the way things are going right now, the Texans are in an excellent position to be able to run the table and win the AFC South again.
Well, I tell you what. This was behind us uh, on the Kansas City Sunday night football. So I guess we'll hear what's his face Chris Collinsworth just go oogle all over Patrick Mahomes. I
Yeah,
mean, we probably ought to put a bib on him, man. By time, you know, you know. I'm
yeah.
sorry. The
No,
Collinsworth.
that reminds me of one more thing, AD.
What's that?
As everybody knows, Cowboys coach Brian Schottenheimer's dad was Marty Schottenheimer, who coached the Kansas City Chiefs for very many years
Absolutely.
and very successfully. Well, somebody asked Brian in his post-game press conference after the game Thursday night about that and said, Brian, does it bother you beating the Chiefs with your dad having coached the Chiefs? And he laughed and he said, absolutely not. I coached the Dallas Cowboys. I went out there to beat Patrick Mahomes, and he said, he is a hell of a player. Everybody knows that. He said, but I'm also going to tell you, anytime the Kansas City Chiefs aren't playing the Dallas Cowboys, I'm rooting for Patrick Mahomes and the Kansas City Chiefs. And I love being able to go back to Arrowhead, where I remember walking the sidelines when my dad was the coach at Kansas City when I was growing up. I love to be able to go back there, remember the memories, and look up in that Chiefs ring of honor and see my dad's name. And I thought that was really interesting that he would say, hey, he rooted for Patrick every time except for when they played the Cowboys. I don't think I've ever heard another NFL coach say that about anybody.
Yeah, no, they're self-absorbed, self-centered. They'll admire it. If they're being honest with themselves, they'll admire it. Hey man,
Yep.
appreciate it, bro. Get
Appreciate you.
back on and finish out there, man. I appreciate it. Thanks. Hey, take care and be careful out there. And we'll be talking, okay?
Sounds great, brother. Thanks for having me on again. Have a
All right,
great
you
week.
take care. All right, you too now.
Alrighty.
All right, all right, folks. It's my man Elwin Henderson. The Gilmore Mirror. He's back out there. I'm gonna go and get him off the take NFC. No, I get him out of the. Now I leave him. Let me see. I'll leave him in there. He's going to get out, and I'm going to wrap it up anyway. All right, as we stated earlier, Texans hard fought game. I tip my hat to the defense, and I tip my hat to the offensive line. I tip my hat to the wide receivers, their blocking and the uniqueness of the play calling today. Um, I'm glad somebody else went out there and trying to figure out that they can do some things with the tush push and all the other stuff. But anyway, we are getting ready to wrap it up. Hey, appreciate it. Those of you, I appreciate it all. Big Tex and Mr. Big Tex, appreciated all the comments for the show today. We'll be back Sunday night. It'll be a little late, and we'll be quick. But appreciate everybody for coming on. That was Elvin belching. I don't know why he's doing that, but anyway, uh, I'm gonna I'm gonna cut his mic out and let him go home. But anyway, he's out, and as I stated, we can wrap it up. Ciao, peace. Hey, hope continued. They had a great Thanksgiving. I know we're in the holiday season now. Be careful out there, folks, with your shopping. Be careful without getting caught with too much packing. Watch everything, all the scams and everything out there. Watch your little ones, watch your loved ones during this holiday season. There are people out here that want to relieve you of all your merchandise and everything. So be careful out there. And as we get ready to shut it down, so your man the Dolphins, AD Moore, signing off from the corner. Appreciate you, and we are out and done. And we see you next Sunday night.